All right, Jim Riester, current Pendleton supervisor, running for re-election. Thanks for coming. If you want to just take a couple minutes and kind of introduce yourself, who you are, why you're running, what you've done since you've been in office, and then we'll do questions after that.
Okay. Again, my name is Jim Riester. I've been the supervisor for the last 4 years, and in the last 4 years we've been able to cut the town tax, which is really sort of designated towards the highway, by 30%. That's probably the thing I'm maybe most proud of, and without cutting any services and things. You know, just streamlining things here and there, and increasing income in certain other lines. Let's see what other things did I do. Oh, we got grants for $300,000. We've completed the rails to trail from Campbell Boulevard to Mapleton Road, and we've got approval for a grant to finish from Mapleton Road to Lockport Road, so that sort of northeast section will be completed. We'll be looking at doing the southwest section next. So it's coming along pretty good. And you know, we've switched over all the water meters now to the radio head so they can all be read.
You know, we were talking about that last time you were right.
Yeah, and so we're able to get those all done. And instead of taking 4 or 5 weeks to read all the meters, now we can read them in 3 or 4 days, which is a big savings. And I guess that's about it.
Okay. I know when I first came and started reporting in Lockport, 2002, 2003, somewhere around there, I had heard that taxes were an issue in Pendleton, or maybe the assessment was an issue in Pendleton. Now, as I drive from my apartment in North Tonawanda down Bear Ridge through Pendleton, and I know there's this one house that says, high tax. Yeah, right. Is that still an issue, or well, you said you addressed it, but how so, or what's the latest?
I always tell everybody, the number 1 issue in town of Pelham is taxes. Number 2 issue is taxes. Number 3 is assessment.
Yeah.
Taxes are very much an issue, because the taxes in New York State, by the county and the school are very high. And on top of it, it's based on assessed valuation. Well, the town of Pendleton has the highest assessed valuation of any town in Niagara County. So conversely, if you have, it's $30 a thousand, and you're the highest of thousands, you pay the highest in taxes. So, and I always look at it, we're sort of at the very point of all the taxes. And, New York State's the highest state in the country. Niagara County is the highest county in the state, and we're the highest town in the highest county, the highest state, in the highest country, probably. So other than, so we're sort of at the very pinnacle, so it's an issue.
Right.
People, they say, anything you can do with taxes, we really appreciate it. Hence by cutting them 30% in the town, that's the smallest tax, but that's the only one we really have control
over. You said that was highway, or?
It's a town tax, actually.
Town tax,
so,
okay.
And we did reduce it 30%, so.
So that leaves what, water, sewer?
There's water and sewer. We haven't had to raise those, so we've held those flat. We've and the highway, there's really no highway tax. It's called the town tax.
Okay, that's worked in there. Okay.
Yeah, sort of worked in there. The general, sales tax money covers most everything. That sort of is the pick up the difference. So.
What's the reason for the highest assessed evaluation? Are you assessing too much, or is it the houses are too nice? Or,
well, maybe it's a combination of all. A lot of people say it's the assessor that she's too zealous, but certainly the numbers do back it up. So if somebody, I guess, has to be number 1, it just says we seem to be number 1 by a lot.
Right.
I think the next closest is $20,000 less than we are on average. That's Cambria. Okay. So when you look at it, we're at 162 in the town of Lockport's 110, I think.
That's per thousand or
per household.
Okay.
So that's a big difference, if you go looking at the houses in Pendleton compared to Lockport or Wheatfield, we're substantially ahead of both of those, and they're sort of our neighboring towns.
Well, that's what I wondered, because Wheatfield is always, a lot of it's, low taxes and building and things like that, but they're right next door.
They're the second highest in Niagara County.
Yeah, okay.
Right behind Pendleton, as far as taxes. If you look at the, if you go online and look at the tax data, that Pendleton's number 1 and Wheatfield's number 2. So that's
interesting,
they certainly get the press for low taxes.
Yeah.
Well, your administration has found ways to cut fat, so to speak, streamlining, getting the radio controlled water reading, squeezing out the efficiencies. And are you coming to the end? Do you have any more tricks left in the magic hat, or do you have to start looking at service or raising the tax to keep what is there?
I don't think we're done yet. I think it can go lower. That's my own personal feeling. I think we can still cut some taxes, there's still some things that we can do, you know, to make us more efficient and to make us, you know, less costly, let's put it that way. You know, I'm not sure exactly yet, but I think there's still some room to move on it, yeah, because we're still doing fairly well. I mean, you know, a lot of people would say, well, you haven't, you know, cut this or cut that. Well, you know, if you can cut the taxes and still increase the fund balance, and you're paying off your debt, you're not incurring any new debt, you know, I think you're doing all right. I mean, in that respect, over the last 4 years, the general fund, the highway, the water, sewer, and I have all finished in the black, meaning that we've spent less money than what we've taken in, you know, and so, you know, I think we're in good shape, and but I still think there's room to work on some of them, you know, and.
Do you have a clear idea of what, I mean, do you have an example of that, you know, here's a place we haven't looked yet, or?
Maybe probably we have to look at, you know, moving our personnel around some to make a little more sense. I think maybe we're, you know, with some of the deficiencies we've seen in the water and sewer, you know, maybe it would be worthwhile to take a look and see if are we, you know, situated properly as far as having our personnel, you know, maybe we should switch one to the highway or something like that, you know, and, you know, just things like that, you know, we'll see what we can do. But I think there's room.
Are you looking to achieve a greater balance of maybe light industrial or some business to offset the cost of the new homes that are going in?
We're always looking at new commercial things. I've been involved with Mark Smith on Transit North, you know, what do you want to call it, initiative, you know, and trying to work with them because, you know, I've attended all the meetings. You know, we're hopefully something will come out of that. We're looking at, we've got a business development committee that we're using to, you know, try to encouraging, you know, new businesses and things. You know, we've actually budgeted money for the new business development committee to, you know, so they have something to actually work with to go out and, you know, and solicit, you know, businesses, things like that. So, you know, talking about upgrading our websites, you know, getting things on there so that people can search and find where in Pendleton's a good opportunity without having to actually physically drive here from someplace. So those are some of the things that we're doing.
Do you see the town continuing to grow at the rate that it has like in the past decade or so, where it's just kind of residential growth has just kind of exploded, or do you see maybe some?
Well, everybody thinks that the town of Pendleton's exploded, but the actual growth is only like 1.5% a year.
Well, now you're talking.
We're probably the third fastest growing town, but when we actually look at the actual numbers, the highest year we had for building permits, I think was still 1986 at 52. Last year we had, I think, 18 or 20 new houses built, so that's not, you know, a tremendous amount.
So do you see kind of a trend maybe where it's slowing down with the subdivisions?
I would expect that. I would expect 20, 25 a year would probably be built. You know, I mean, there's new subdivisions on the boards. They've got some that where we just approved the Meadows on Campbell Boulevard, and that's, I'm not sure how many homes are in there, maybe, you know, 40 or 50 in phase one. And, but it'll probably take, you know, 3, 4, or 5 years to build it all. I mean, we have Mapleton Ponds that are looking to build a subdivision there, and they're talking 280 homes, but they're talking, they admit themselves it'll take 20 years to build it, and they've been working already two years, I think, on it, and they haven't put a shovel in the ground yet. So everybody's concerned about it exploding, but I think...
So it certainly gives you time to plan.
It's controlled, yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't anticipate that you're going to see, you know, 100 or 200 new homes going in 1 year. You know, it seems to be, you know, 20, 30 homes a year, and that's about it. You know, about maybe 1.5% growth. Okay. Which is, you know, better than shrinking. Right. And it's unfortunately, it's number 3 in the county, I think, behind probably Wheatfield and Lockport.